Hey Soul Fam, this is Lisa-Issa with Charmed Lithomancy. Just wanted to give you a heads up that I had just a tiny bit of technical difficulties, so please bear with me as I work everything out. So without further ado, let's get to it. Okay, so Libra, your center stone card is Mars. This is not Mars's first rodeo in the readings today. It's really interesting how I have about 55 cards, and this week the same cards keep wanting to share a message. So Mars is one of those cards. You have a few that really wanted to speak this whole week. So the energy of Mars is the action planet. Aries is ruled by Mars. Mars is the like ready, set, go type of energy. It is almost like like move out of my way. You guys are moving too slow. Come on, chop chop, let's get to it. Mars also has that superhero, super shero type of energy. The cape, the S on the chest, the whole nine. Like, when things are going crazy, Superman, comes in and plows through, all the people. They move out of the way so Superman can come and save the day. That is kind of like Mars's energy, right? Mars is also known as the ancient god of war. It's about stamina, it's about external energies, it's masculine, it's about stamina and conquering. It holds that type of energy. So that's at the base of your reading. Your first card out after that is Buddha. Buddha, when Buddha shows up, he tells us to remember spiritual practice. The message is spiritual practice and not so much about what it is we're doing. When we think spiritual practice, we usually think prayer, meditation, chanting, mantras, all of those type of things. However, we know that it could be whatever it is that helps you to connect with the divine. It could be gardening, painting, cooking, whatever works for you. However, when Buddha shows up, it's not so much about the action, but he is reminding us it's more about consistency. Practice, as how you build a practice. So, that's Buddha. I'm going to skip the next card, which is the key card. I'll come back to that. On the other side of the Mars card is butterfly in reverse. So butterfly has made numerous appearances. Butterfly has made numerous appearances today, even both in reverse and upright. However, we have it, Libra, I'm Libra rising, we have it in the reverse, butterfly in reverse. And butterfly in reverse speaks to, so butterfly in the upright, let's start there, is about transformation. And the way I usually see butterfly is that it's a long process. So like the transformation comes like after a bit of a struggle, like a long process, a long struggle. Like the butterfly has the different stages of the butterfly to becoming butterfly, because it's a caterpillar, chrysalis before it gets to the butterfly. So it's like a long, process. That's that energy. However, when it's in the reverse position, how I sense it is that you've done the work. You have gone through that long process, of transformation. And so, not to say that there's not, something else to be worked through, next, but you have finished that little block of work. So that's the energy of butterfly in reverse. Then we also have the stars in reverse. So the stars in the upright speaks to, I always think of it as community. So I think of a lot of people. Sometimes it's online community. So it's a lot, it feels like a lot of things, usually like a lot of people or a lot of ideas, right? And so in reverse, it's saying more like one, you know? It's not all about all the little, ideas and so many different people. It's honing it down. Okay, Libra. So that's a little bit about each of the cards except for one. And now we're going to talk about the collective energy of your cards here. So there's something that you put a lot of effort into, you put a lot of action into, you really got it done. And the butterfly and Mars together, they tell that story. So Mars is about action, it's about energy, it's about doing, it's about stamina, conquering, ambition. And butterfly in reverse says that you've done it. It took you a while. It was a long kind of thing. And now there's something about single. It went from a lot to a single something. And the key speaks to it. So in a reading, so if you've ever had a reading from me, the key is usually the last thing read. Sometimes it starts screaming before we get to the end, but generally speaking, the key is last charm read in a traditional charm lithomancy reading. And there's so in the card version, the key is pointing to Buddha. Buddha speaks of spiritual practice. So the key of a thing is consistency and practice. Feels bro, I'm gonna pull some more cards for you. I'm gonna pull more cards because it feels as if I don't have the full picture here. Hey Libra, this is part 2 of your reading. I tell you, I have recorded this several times, and but I am not going to be deterred. I really would like for you all to have the fullness of your reading. So here we go. As you can see, I pulled 3 more cards for you. One was a Pluto card, or the Pluto stone card. And it is all about transformations, about beginnings, endings. It is like an overhaul. It is about truths. It is straight, no chaser, right? It is also like the phoenix rising from the ashes. It's freeing, it's healing, but after a long struggle. You have the clock and the lotus flower in reverse. So when we look at these extra set of cards in conjunction with your first or top row, it's kind of interesting how the story really clears up. I can clearly see a lot of connections, starting off with the lotus in reverse. So as you can see, the lotus in reverse is right underneath the butterfly in reverse. And that's just how the cards came out and how they would have normally been placed, but they hold similar energy. And also the fact that they're in reverse, they hold similar energy. It's just always so interesting. In the upright position, the lotus flower speaks of, pretty simply, it is no mud, no lotus. The lotus only grows in that type of environment. And so, some analogy, if you switch it up a little bit, it's the fertilizer for your garden, whether it's your rose garden or your vegetable garden. It, fertilizer. I don't have to go too much further into that. And it's like that same type of energy. It's going to be a little of that to get the beautiful roses or to have your harvest. And they really come like together. And so the lotus flower in reverse, however, is saying that you've already gone through that. You've already, struggled through the muck and the mire and the BS and the trouble, the roadblock, all of that stuff, just like the butterfly. The little difference is that the butterfly lets us know that it was kind of like a long process. But other than that, the information is pretty similar. Okay. And then we have the clock on the other side, on the right hand side of the Pluto stone card, and it speaks about divine timing. So it's pretty straightforward, divine timing, that when it shows up, it reminds us that, we really don't live or operate in a vacuum, and that when we want things or we desire things or we request things from the universe, that we don't live in a vacuum. We're not the only being on the planet, and other beings are we're all on an equal playing field. So when you desire something and you make a request, other people, things need to be in place for when you get to like that part of the path, or wherever, whatever it is you want, some other things may need to be put in place before you get there. Like, for instance, a relay race. So if you are running in a relay race and you are the person that the baton is being handed to, if you start running before your person is close enough, they may not have enough energy to catch up with you. And so you're probably going to lose the race because you jumped the gun, really. So sometimes the universe is asking us to, hold up, let us, he, she, it, put things in place. You just wait right here and let me go and coordinate everything. A lot of times, we don't want to hear that, but, that's how it works. The clock charm card also on two sides of the same coin, because the other message it could be sharing with us is like, act now. It's like right now, get to it, like on your marks, get set, go, that type of energy. So when we look at these three cards and we tie them in with your first 5 cards, it's a pretty clear story. There's something that you worked long and hard to achieve or reach or get to or to obtain. And it was a fairly long process, or, it wasn't instant. And you did have quite a few trials and tribulations, maybe roadblocks, that type of thing. Not saying that they always had to be really negative or bad, but you didn't just say, oh, I'd like that red car over there, and poof, somebody, came over and handed you the keys. It was, a little bit more to it than that. So that to me is, like a part of the story. And I was just looking at Mars and the clock. They really they're telling us like the same story as well. So I digress. Let me get back. Sometimes things just like really stand out, and I feel like I just can't even hold it in. But I'm going to go back to, now I'm going to talk about the stars card in reverse. So it feels like that thing that you desired, that you worked towards, in some type of way. Maybe it was many choices, many ideas, many people, and many options, and you were being asked to hone it down to make more of a selection. You had lots of options. Okay. And it feels as if now is the time. So you've been through, all that you've even released some things. Pluto says that you probably let some things go. And Pluto holds the similar same energy as the butterfly. So it's very clear that there was a lot there was kind of like a long process with it, and it really was kind of tough because Pluto has that phoenix energy, and the phoenix, the mythical bird, everything was like burnt to the ground for then the phoenix to rise from the ashes, and so it feels as if your way was pretty it was kind of rocky. Let's just say it was kind of rocky, and it may have required for you to let some things go and really focus and hone in on one thing from many to one. Okay, and so the key, which is the thing that we read generally last, the Mars card and the clock, they're saying now is the time to move towards that. So the Buddha represents spiritual practice. And as I've shared, it's not so much about the activity of the spiritual practice, but the consistency most times. And so it's something about the consistency or the spiritual practice of the movement and choosing that thing that you desire, that you've worked so hard. There's something that you need to do that's going to require consistency, or maybe going within to really look at it, because Buddha can also bring that message as well. But it feels like you might need to put more of a plan, or just be consistent with whatever it is that you need to create or do to get that thing, because that is part of the key. The key is the action is now, to start now, and be consistent with whatever it is that you decide to do. And it feels like it is to get that one thing, because you're right on the cusp of receiving it, because you've worked very long and hard. You have 3 cards that say that, and the 2 that are in reverse saying that you're at the end of that long struggle. So it took quite a while, Libra, but I'm glad that I pulled those other 3 cards for you, and that the message is more complete. So, just so we're clear, one more time, there was something that you were working towards. It was a long struggle. You did it. You're on the cusp. You had a lot of options, a lot of something, and it went down to one. You honed it. You sifted through everything, and you got down to one. And now is the time for action. For you to either move on it or step into some type of spiritual practice or a consistent action to complete that cycle, So it was good, Libra. I appreciate you, and I thank you so much for staying with me for the long haul on this long reading. And I look forward to seeing you soon. And until then, shine bright. Namaste.